girls? How's your summer going? Are you going to any programs? No? Oh, just reading stuff or what? Where are you gonna be next year? You know, the last of the get up to school? Different. Much different. Other things, yeah. So, yeah. For now, they're doing with the big kids over there. That's exciting. Yeah, fun. It's a nice school. Oh, that's nice. Hey, you just sports? Oh, they have sports, or you take their first sports? Yeah. Yeah. Go on the bus, travel. Yeah, yeah. Go ahead. Go good.
Yeah, it's my shift. Yeah, I'm trying to take care of it. So yeah, so I don't know if you see that little thing right there in the middle, 71.4. Yeah, that's if it gets to 80, the sound starts glitching out. So pretty much yeah, it's dated for sure though. Yeah, but it works. So.
Oh, the thing is ready. Oh, girls, you wanna go eat? Oh, okay. You guys want me to read out there? Are you gonna get far? Are you? You guys have a lot of water? Oh, shit. Yeah. Oh, she did too.
She goes. Send it to all the work. Yeah. Time change 6:45.
Oh, she's here.
But she's there.
It's a line. Good evening, everyone. Today's scheduled meeting at 5 o'clock will have to be postponed a bit. We are waiting to reach a quorum. We had some unexpected time delays in terms of getting our meeting started. We anticipate our start of the meeting to be between 6:45 and 7. Once we have accomplished having a quorum present here in person in our boardroom. At that time, we'll check back in at 6:45 and we'll be here at the dais and we'll wait. If we don't have a quorum at 6:45, we'll wait here in the dais until we reach a quorum and where we will formally open the meeting. We apologize for any inconvenience and we'll see you in a little bit. Thank you.
They have heavy winds in Vegas, so the flights are all delayed. They left the gate over half an hour ago, but he's still on, waiting for taxi. So they're scheduling 6:22 now. 6:22. Yeah. 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 He lands now at 6:12, so we'll hope.
Hopefully they can make it sometime in the year.
Yeah. An hour flight, so I think they can do that, but
Testing, 1, 2, 3.
Sounds good.
Okay, thank you.
Congrats. Good.
All right, good evening, everybody. I now call to order the regular board meeting of the Board of Trustees of Oak Grove School District on June 20th to 2024 at 7:18 p.m. Thank you, everyone, for being patient with us. Due to last minute requests, June 20th, 2024, by the Registrar of Voter Office, an additional paragraph was added to the section 4 of Resolution 1470-06/24, brought to the board for approval on June 13th, 2024 regular board meeting. As a resolution must be submitted to the Registrar of Voters no later than July 3rd, 2024, action item 6.13 was added as an emergency item in order to comply with the above reference deadline. May I have a motion and a second to approve the amended agenda as submitted?
Motion to approve.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Oh, aye. Okay, hearing none, the agenda has been approved as submitted. The board will now recess to closed session to discuss public employee performance evaluation of the superintendent, public employee discipline, release and dismissal, public employee appointment, assistant superintendent of educational services, public employee employment, assistant superintendent of educational services, and confer with labor negotiator, conference with real property negotiators, government code section 5495, 56.8. Persons wishing to address the board on closed session items may do so with the raise your hand Zoom feature to speak. You will have 3 minutes to speak. Is there anyone who wishes to speak on closed session items?
We have virtual speaker Janet Williams.
Janet?
Hi there, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. I am just here today to remind the board and the developer, if they're listening, that the Glider Neighborhood and Santa Teresa Foothill Neighborhood Association is still engaged. And in fact, we still meet regularly. We still want to be involved in the decisions that will permanently change our neighborhood. So, you know, as I've said before, please don't operate in a silo because your decisions as stewards of a valuable public asset matter to the public. The community wants a win for the district and a win for the city and a win for the community, not a deal that benefits just two parties temporarily and leaves the third worse off permanently. So we're relying on you as our school board and the city to make decisions in the best interests of all three parties for the next 100 years and the next, and not just your current budget and the developer's bottom line. To date, you should know that the developer has not followed the contract with regards to community meetings. This has not been open to feedback such as setbacks, privacy, parking, and open space requests. In fact, the VP told us that he is there to make a profit and that the neighbors don't have a say in whatever gets built and that we will quote unquote get over it. So my request is twofold. First, please engage the Glider neighbors in your plans for the property and as you make revisions to the contract. And second, please request that the developer work with us in good faith as well. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Williams. Any other public comment?
No other virtual comment.
Okay. We will now recess to closed session and we'll return at approximately 15 to 20 minutes. Thanks so much. and no action was taken. Public employee discipline, release and dismissal, no action was taken. Public employee appointment, assistant superintendent, no action was taken. Public employee employment, no action was taken. Confer with labor negotiator, no action was taken. And conference with real property negotiators, no action was taken. This is we will now move on to public comment. This is an opportunity for individuals to address the board on any school-related issue, which is not a part of this evening's agenda. Are there any individuals who wish to speak at this time?
There are no public comments virtually.
Okay. Seeing none in person, we will now move on to bargaining unit. Do we have any reports from bargaining unit representatives? Okay, I missed that.
Check if you can.
Give us just a second. I skipped over something. My apologies. I actually skipped over first the land acknowledgement from Member Pacheco.
Yeah. We acknowledge that the Oak Grove School District and our schools occupy the unceded territory of the Muckley Nation, sovereign nation and original people of skies, land, and waters where we work and learn. The Muckley people are stewards of the land, of the teaching and learning that comes from and responds to the needs of the land and people who share it. May the daily lives, research, teaching, and communication support their vision. Thank you.
Thanks so much. And now the flag salute. Superintendent Monzo, will you lead the Pledge of Allegiance?
You can join me.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much. And now we can move to bargaining.
Superintendent's
Oh, the
report.
superintendent. I'm so sorry, guys. Everything's messed up on my end. Now move on to the superintendent's report. Superintendent Monzo.
No worries at all. I know we're trying to make up some time. Well, just welcome, first of all, everyone. After close to 370 board meetings, this is my last board meeting with you all. And I'm just really filled with emotions and as I prepare for farewell to each of you. And it's been an incredible journey serving as your superintendent for the past 12 years. And I'm just so deeply grateful for the opportunity to serve alongside you and to serve this community for such a long time. To the board trustees, thank you for just your unwavering support, your guidance, your dedication, your commitment to the mission of the district, and always looking for the best interest of our community as well. Through some challenging times, but also some innovation and taking risks and doing what's right for kids and in the meaning of equity and inclusion, and where the board has really trailblazed in so many ways the pathway for not just our district, but for many other districts as well. To our students, you really are the heartbeat of our district. And it's been just a privilege to serve as your superintendent. It's amazing walking out to schools, just the curiosity, the resilience through COVID, through so many challenges, and seeing that kids by nature are resilient, and just so grateful that alongside of that, there's so many caring individuals and people in our schools, our teachers, our staff, our labor partners that have been right there alongside us and during those difficult times, and also our students who continue to show us their optimism and for the future and what's to come as well. All great things. And parents and guardians also, thank you for entrusting us with the education and well-being of your children, and being able to provide that for our community. And really, again, a spirit of collaboration and innovation, and always looking for opportunities to improve and to move towards excellence. I want to also express my deepest thanks To each and every one of you for the dedication, passion, and commitment of our students, the shared vision of educational excellence. It's been an honor and a privilege to serve as a superintendent, and I will carry so many memories as memories of our time together that always will stay with me. In every ending, there's always a new beginning waiting to unfold. And I just have the highest level of confidence that Oak Grove's new superintendent, Dr. Titus, the executive team, Associate Superintendent Bowles, Associate Superintendent Evans, our new Assistant Superintendent Enna, alongside our amazing board, our community will continue to be trailblazers and continue to bring new levels of success to Oak Grove School District. It's just been a humbling and incredible journey. And I'm just so fortunate to have had the opportunity to be on this ride together with all of you. So thank you. And that concludes my last report to the board.
Thank you so much, Superintendent Monzo. I think I can speak for all of the board in saying that you will be so missed. We appreciate all the work that you've done for us, all the work that you've done in this district. I'm just going to stop there because I don't want to get emotional, but you will be so missed. And please continue to visit our district. You'll definitely hear from me and all of our board members with questions, concerns, and checking in. Please enjoy all of the time with your family, your wife, do all of the traveling and do all of the great things that you deserve. Thank you so much. So now I think we can move on to bargaining unit comment. Chuck, you want to join us again? Thank you so much.
Good evening, everyone. Chuck Baylot, CSEA president. Let's start off with Jose too. I know in these meetings I'm supposed to call you Superintendent Monzo, but for this, I'm gonna be less formal. I just wanna, I'm gonna see you and talk to you before you leave and probably bother you about one more problem or district union thing to give you a little hard time before you leave. But I do want to publicly acknowledge you and say farewell. Few years, until I got involved in the union, I really didn't pay attention to what the superintendent does. I mean, I knew you were the big boss, but whatever he decides or whatever, I just wasn't that engaged. And then I started getting involved in the union about seven and a half years ago. I think the school closures started to happen. And I wasn't the president, but I was a treasurer for the thing and started going to those things. And through the years, I've gotten to see what your job kind of entails. And I want to say, as a union president for the last 6 years, you're always fair, responsive, very attentive, responsive. You're always fair with me. I try not to bug you too much with little things, but you always seem to have an open door policy. And I appreciate that. You called me a few times with concerns, and I always appreciated that. You just were willing to talk to me. You fixed some things for us. Even when I didn't get my way, I always felt fair and genuine, and you were doing it in good faith, and I appreciate that a lot. And I got to be on that parcel tax. You've had to do budget cuts, reorgs, all of that kind of stuff. But I always felt you were doing in good faith. And I do got to say, not that you need my validation or approval, but you were a good superintendent. From what I can see and what I know, you were a good, very good superintendent. And Dr. Chetas does have big shoes to fill. I'm sure he's going to do great, but it's going to take him a while to become as good as Jose. So I hope you enjoy your retirement. I hope we do see you here and there, and you still help Dr. Chetas out. But thank you. I enjoyed you being our superintendent the last 12 years, even though the first few years I didn't really pay attention, but but you've been fair. With that, so I will look forward to working with Yvonne. I get to work with him a lot now as the assistant soup of HR, and it'll probably be a little less as superintendent because I do try not to bug the big boss with the little things. But I look forward to working with you as superintendent, and I look forward to working with Amy as the HR. She gets to be the person I bug now, and Mark will do good. I gotten along with Amy. I think she's great, and I think she'll do a good job, and I look forward to working with her. I also want to congratulate a good friend of mine, Janae Anna, for her promotion to assistant superintendent. I think she's a great person. I've known her well for the last 10, 11 years, and we're lucky to have her. I'm glad she went for this role, and I'm glad she got it. They say you're as good as the company you keep, so I'm glad I might be bringing her down a level, but I'm glad she's a good friend to have, and I think she'll do great, and we're lucky to have her. Originally I was gonna talk about some union stuff, and what I was gonna prioritize for next year, but we started late. I'm gonna let Jose have a pass on this. And I'll write some emails to Yvonne, and nothing was bad anyway, but I'll focus on updating you board members with what we're looking at the beginning of the next school year. So thank you for your time, and Jose, once again, congratulations and good luck.
Thanks so much, Sean. President Berlin?
Good evening, board members online, and executive team, colleagues, and community members. I wanted to share a little bit about negotiations. So we finished collecting our data from our members, and we'll be identifying articles to open for this fall's negotiation cycle. We did add a new thing to our survey, which was behaviors in the classroom, and we're asking our members in our gen ed classes and our special education classes. Since this past year, there have been an increase in the severity of the behaviors that folks have experienced in the classroom. So we did also inquire about that, and we're analyzing that data right now. There are some articles you can count on that we will be opening, such as compensation, salary and benefits. Class sizes always makes it up there. And then we also have some other priorities which will be shared in the fall. As an update on community schools, we participated in information meetings at Christopher and Edenvale, as well as tabling at Christopher's and Edenvale's open houses and promotion ceremonies. Christopher and Edenvale are 2 of the 5 schools that have been identified who reach the threshold of receiving the grant, the community schools grant, and they are the highest. Edenvale is above 80% of unduplicated student counts, and Christopher is in the mid to late or upper 70%. We are, so we did collect forms from families. Here's what that looked like. Families who were interested in seeing community schools in their schools. However, we didn't get to everybody. And it was the end of the school year. We understand that there were forms that were sent out to families. It's kind of hard to get forms back, at the end of the year, right? So families are concerned about other things. So it'll be something that we'll need to revisit again in the fall. We are strongly urging, and I have had this conversation with Superintendent Monzo, we are strongly urging the executive team to work collaboratively at every stage of the process moving forward, so that we are presenting and discussing community schools with staff and community as partners. We understand that it's going to be a shift in how we have typically done things in terms of process and governance. However, that's what community schools is about. It's about shared governance, about shared decision-making, and that is the transformation that's a part of community schools. So it has to be there right from the start, and we have to be conscious of how we are proceeding with our actions moving forward. Okay, so this fall will be super busy, if you've already heard. It'll be busy with negotiations, school board elections, and then several schools that will be adjusting to new principals and getting to know their principals, and principals getting to know their staff as well. We want to advise that principals do take their time to build those relationships with staff at the very beginning, and include staff input whenever that's possible, when decisions are being made that are directly impacting the staff. As the union president, I do get to hear a lot of certain grievances or complaints, and it is typically when the principal has been in their position 3 years and below. So I do appreciate that Assistant Superintendent Chaidez has shared the contract with principals. It's less training for us because we do recognize that when we have new principals, we want to be able to guide them in what the contract is and to help them be successful in how they conduct themselves and treat rights of our members in their first year. And so if they're already well-versed in it, such as one of our new principals, Kelly Humphrey at Anderson, then, that's more, I don't know if they have to be at that level, but it does help. And so that's just some anecdotal information for you, that the majority of the complaints I get are usually from principals who are operating at 3 years and below. And that's typical, but perhaps we can improve on that. So having them be familiar with the contract, but also on a relational level, really encouraging them to build those relationships with their staff and community so that they have that to work with as well. And then as for Oak Grove, new superintendent, executive team members, there'll be some turnovers there, and school board members. It's going to be even more important to really look at how we're including voices. There's going to be a transition period, and I guess we're going to look at how can we make these kinds of transitions with new board members and new executive team members and superintendent as seamless as possible. And sometimes it's not possible, but as seamless as possible so that there's as much institutional knowledge that's passed on from one role to another. And I know that each individual will be bringing their own gifts and skills. However, we don't want to lose that, right? We don't need to start from scratch, and we want to get better each time. So that's your charge, be better than Jose. Right? And same thing with Amy too. And so as she gets into her role as well and gets more familiar with her role, we get better at it as we do it, if people are open to it. And I think that's been something to keep in mind is, are we open to that growth? And I hope that everybody who is moving into these new positions will be open to that type of growth. Okay, so similar to Jose, this will be my last report to the board as OGA president. It's been my distinct pleasure and honor to serve as the president of the Oak Grove Educators Association. I think it's a beautiful association that's full of heart and energy and strength. I'm glad to have been able to build relationships with our trustees, and I trust the work that you're leading us in the right direction. It's been beautiful to see and experience, and you've done it through extremely trying times, And so everything post-COVID should be like easy, right? So I want to just say thank you for that time that you have met with members, have answered our call, have participated in our town halls, have answered emails, have answered our texts. And it's been, I've appreciated your collaborative nature as a whole, your creativity, you're very community minded, and you've been fiscally responsible. And also you've been really student centered, which I think is a very important skill for school board members. So if anybody's listening and they're interested, these are some criteria that we need on our school board. Being student-centered, community-minded, be collaborative. Sometimes I think members who are looking to run may not know that you're not a lone person making decisions. You have to work as a group. And I really, really appreciated that this group with Trustee Hernandez, Martinez, Pacheco, Dr. Jaco, and Trustee Gonzalez, President Gonzalez, have been able to do that. And just speaking with my peers and other presidents, this is an anomaly, not just in our county, but in our school district, in our state. Having school board members who can work as cohesively and progressively as you have is an anomaly. That is not a typical experience. So it's going to be changing. So I'm glad that I was able to experience it with this group, and I will do what I can to help that continue. So with the transition of new board members and the superintendent, I hope that you can remain steadfast in your commitment in keeping students centered and keeping, if we need to, any cuts away from our classrooms and being open to keeping the lines of communication to our community, bargaining unit, and members always open. I've always appreciated that about you, and I hope that that's something that can continue. Thank you to the Superintendent Monzo. Thank you for our open relationship. I'm glad we've been able to develop that and build that. And I think that has really helped to build that cohesiveness in this space, but also in the work that we do together and on different sites. I've also appreciated my working relationship with Dr. Chaitis. I hope that continues as you move into a different role. I know that as a superintendent, you'll have a broader view of things. I've appreciated your innovation. I hope that's something that you take with you and that you spread around as well. I've appreciated my relationship with Associate Superintendent Mark Evans. It's been really nice to see you as visible as you are, and I believe I've told you that before. It's something that our staff and members do appreciate, being able to know who they're talking to and emailing, and you bring a real authenticity to your role, and you make the information really accessible for folks in the community. And I think that's a real skill. Thank you. Thank you also to Assistant Superintendent Bowles. I've known her since she was my literacy coach at Edenvale, and it's been really wonderful to see her growth as a leader, and know that to her core she is an educator, and it is something that she keeps real close to her. So my term officially ends on June 30th. Our new president, Luis Velasquez, will begin his term on July 1st. He and I are coincidentally both from Edenvale. I invite you to kindly welcome him into this space as a new leader and spokesperson for the Oak Grove Educators Association. Thank you. Thank you so much for welcoming me. And this concludes my final report. Thank you.
Thank you so much. On behalf of the board, thank you so much, President Berlin, for your steadfast advocacy, for your push, for your patience, for the way that you worked with the board and worked, with your union and other unions, sister unions, to give them a voice. It's bittersweet to see you go. I look forward to welcoming Luis, but you will be missed. I know that your advocacy does not end here with your presidency. So please, we are always open to work with you. Thank you so much. Okay, so that wraps up bargaining unit comment and brings us to item number 5, consent agenda. Superintendent Monzo, will you please present?
Yes, I'd like to recommend that the board approve the consent agenda items as presented.
We have a motion and a second.
I move that the board approves the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
May we have a roll call vote?
Public comment.
Oh, is there any public comment at this time?
No virtual comment.
Okay, and seeing none in person, may I have a roll call vote?
Member Hernandez,
Aye.
Member Pacheco,
Aye.
Vice President Jaco,
Aye.
President Gonzalez,
Aye.
motion carries.
Okay, and that brings us to item number 6, action items. 6.1, adoption of the 24-25 budget. Superintendent Monzo?
Yes, as mentioned at our last board meeting on June 13th, the board received a thorough presentation of the budget. And at this time, there won't be a repeat of that presentation. We are recommending that the board approve the 2024-2025 budget as presented.
I move that the board of trustees adopt the proposed budget for 24-25 as presented.
I second that motion. Do we have anyone from the public to speak on this item? Seeing
No
none-
public comment.
Sorry about that. Thank you so much, Rosa.
Any-
Is there any board discussion at all? Tanya? Okay, seeing none, may we have a roll call vote?
Member Hernandez,
Aye.
Member Pacheco,
Aye.
Vice President Jaco,
Aye.
President Gonzalez,
Aye.
motion carries.
Action item 6.2, local control accountability plan. Superintendent Monzo?
Similar to the previous item, on June 13th, the board received a thorough presentation of the local control accountability plan. And so for tonight, we have complied with all the requirements of the public hearing, as well as the presentation. And now we are recommending that the board approve the local control accountability plan for our district for 24-25 and the 3-year cycle that goes with that.
Thank you so much. May I have a motion in a second?
So I move that the Board of Trustees approve the annual local control accountability plan as presented.
Second.
Okay, are there any public comment?
No virtual comment.
Seeing none in person, is there any board discussion? Okay, may I have a roll call vote?
Member Hernandez,
Aye.
Member Pacheco,
Aye.
Vice President Jaco,
Aye.
President Gonzalez,
Aye.
motion carries.
Thank you so much. That moves us on to item 6.3, contract award update from board designation of authority for Christopher restroom modernization and site improvements.
Yes, I'll have Associate Superintendent Evans present this item. And do we have common items for, or do we need to take them in succession individually?
3 and 4 are common. They're both construction related. The others would be different.
Would it be okay for the board to take those 2 items and
Sure.
ask for any questions? Okay, Associate Superintendent Evans.
Thank you. Tonight, we're going to present to the board 2 bids that came in. In May, at a board meeting, you approved a delegation of authority so we could move forward to keep things on track for summer. 2 of those bids that have come in are the Christopher restroom modernization project, and John Plumbing was the low bid there. And then the other bid that came in is the site improvements, and Silicon Valley Paving came in with the winning bid there at $1.6 million. So we're recommending that the Board of Trustees ratify these contracts and will continue to work for the summer. On item 6.4, Edenvale Elementary School has a portable. It was part of the city of San Jose, and they used the portable. We are taking title back to that building, and it was a freestanding building. We'd like to connect it to the Edenvale campus with data and fire alarm and those types of things, burglar alarms as well. So we'll be doing some modernization and trenching to connect that building to the main campus so that it all sits as one entity, one complete campus together rather than a freestanding separate building. So we would like to recommend that the Board of Trustees approve the contract with John Plumbing to replace the utilities and upgrade those and connect them to the main campus.
Thank you so much. May I have a motion in a second?
I move to approve items 6.3 and 6.4.
I'll second that motion. Do we have anybody from the public to speak on this item, on these items?
No public comment virtually.
Thank you so much. Any board discussion? Seeing none, may I have a roll call vote, please?
Member Hernandez,
Aye.
Member Pacheco,
Aye.
Vice President Jaco,
Aye.
President Gonzalez,
Aye.
motion carries.
Okay, that moves us to item 6.5, professional consulting contract for services with Caldwell Flores Winters Incorporated for state aid funding related to facilities.
Yes, Associate Superintendent Evans.
Yes, thank you. We'd like to present this contract with Caldwell Flores Winters, CFW as we more commonly call them, to assist us as we work to acquire state funding. School facilities are largely funded through local bonds like our Measure P, but we can also tap into statewide bond dollars. There's anticipated to be a statewide bond on the November ballot, and if that passes, we will be eligible for several $1 million in matching funds for modernization of our campuses. It's a kind of rigorous process, and CFW will help us navigate that and go through all the state agencies to get those applications prepared and processed with the hopes of adding dollars to our construction budget to supplement Measure P. CFW has a 2% fee of the grant allocation. This is a standard practice that there's an allocation of the grant to the people who help support the awarding of the grant. So we're asking the board to approve this agreement with Caldwell Flores and Winters in the hopes of acquiring additional funding for our capital improvement program.
Just as a clarification, the 2% is not coming from any district resources. So it comes from the award that is received. If we do receive any award from any of the matching funds, it would be come out of that. It won't impact any of our general fund. And we do have experience in the past with Caldwell Flores Winters in other settings, and they've been very successful in supporting school districts and in this process. So highly recommend the contract.
Thanks so much. May I have a motion in a second?
I'll move that the Board of Trustees approve the agreement between Caldwell Flores Winters Incorporated and the district to provide services and support in accessing state facility bond dollars.
I second.
Thanks so much. Do we have any public comment to speak to this item?
There's no virtual comment.
Okay, seeing none in person, do we have any board discussion? Okay, also none. May I have a roll call vote, please?
Member Hernandez,
Aye.
Member Pacheco,
Aye.
Vice President Jaco,
Aye.
President Gonzalez,
Motion passes. That brings us to item 6.6, second amendment to real estate purchase and sale agreement, Glider Elementary School property.
Thank you, President Gonzalez. We provided an update last week in closed session related to the status, and we'll do a brief update as it relates to the amendment requested for your approval tonight. Associate Superintendent Evans.
Yes, thank you. We are bringing to the board a proposal for a second amendment to the purchase and sale agreement for the Glider Elementary School property with True Life Companies. They're in negotiations currently with the city trying to to go through all of the permitting process. And the timeline of our first amendment was due to close escrow in September of this year, but they're still working with the city on finishing up all of the permitting process. So they have asked for an extension to that deadline for closing escrow to next July of 2025, July 31st of 2025. In the process of discussing that, we asked that the deposits that they have currently made, coming in at about 1.5 million to date, and all future deposits become non-refundable and additionally become released to the district upon payment. So they will be accessible to the district beforehand. So we're recommending that the Board of Trustees approve the second amendment to the real estate agreement for Glider.
Thank you so much, Associate Superintendent. May we have a motion and a second?
I move that the Board of Trustees approve the second amendment to the real estate purchase and sale agreement.
Second.
Okay, is there any online public comment?
No virtual comment?
Okay, seeing none in person, is there any board discussion? Okay, may I have a roll call vote?
Member Hernandez?
Aye.
Member Pacheco?
Aye.
Vice President Jaco?
Aye.
President Gonzalez?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Much. Okay, and that moves us on to action item 6.7, consideration approval of addendum to agreement with Assistant Superintendent of Human Resources, Dr. Yvonne Chidas. The board has successfully completed the evaluation of the superintendent and executive team and has rated the performance as excellent. Due to the successful evaluation, the following considerations will be considered for approval by the board. Assistant Superintendent contract. The Assistant Superintendent of Human Resources will receive a 4% salary increase retroactive to July 1st, 2023. The annual salary for the assistant is as 239,454, which reflects the placement at step 6 salary years 4 through 7 of the salary schedule. The assistant superintendent will receive the following fringe benefits: district health and welfare benefits, payment into membership and professional associations, automobile allowance of $500, life insurance in the amount of $110,000. Did I say that correctly? And contributions into the tax sheltered annuity vacation days earned at a rate of 2.5 days per month, 12 days of sick leave per year, reimbursement for business expenses, etc. May I have a motion in a second?
I move to, let's see. I move that the board approves item 6.7.
Second.
Do we have any public comment at this time?
No virtual comment?
Any board discussion? Okay, may I have a roll call vote?
Member Hernandez?
Aye.
Member Pacheco?
Aye.
Vice President Jaco?
Aye.
President Gonzalez?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you so much. That brings us to action item 6.8, consideration and approval of the agreement with Superintendent Dr. Yvonne Chidas. Superintendent contract states the superintendent contract's term is set for August 2nd, 2024 through June 30th, 2027. The superintendent salary will be 25,7,400 annually and will be prorated for the period from August 2nd, 2024 through June 30th, 2025. This reflects placement on step 1 of the salary schedule. The superintendent will receive the following fringe benefits: district health and welfare benefits, payment into the membership in professional associations, automobile allowance of $500, life insurance in the amount of $110,000, contribution into tax sheltered annuity, vacation days earned at the rate of 2.5 days per month, 12 sick days per leave, reimbursement for business expenses, etc. May I have a motion in a second?
I move that the Board of Trustees approve item 6.8, agreement with Superintendent Dr. Yvonne Chidas.
Second.
Do we have any public comment?
No virtual comment?
Okay, any board discussion? May we have a roll call vote?
Member Hernandez?
Aye.
Member Pacheco?
Aye.
Vice President Jaco?
Aye.
President Gonzalez?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, that brings us to action item 6.9, consideration approval of addendum to agreement with Assistant Superintendent of Educational Services Division, Amy Boyles. Amy Bowles. Assistant Superintendent contract states that the Assistant Superintendent of Educational Services will receive a 4% salary increase retroactive to July 1st, 2023, with an annual amount of $228,051 effective on July 1st, 2024. The annual salary for the Assistant Superintendent is $239,454, which reflects the placement at step 6, salary years 4 through 7 of the salary schedule. The Assistant Superintendent will receive the following fringe benefits: district health welfare benefits, payment into membership in professional associations, automobile allowance of $500, and life insurance in the amount of $110,000, contribution into a tax sheltered annuity. Vacations days earned at the rate of 2.5 days per month, 12 days sick leave per year, reimbursement for expenses, etc. May I have a motion in a second?
Move to approve item 6.9.
I second that motion. Do we have any public comment?
No virtual comment.
Okay, any board discussion? All right, may we have a roll call vote, please?
Member Hernandez,
Aye.
Member Pacheco,
Aye.
Vice President Jaco,
Aye.
President Gonzalez,
Aye.
motion carries.
Thank you so much. That brings us to action item 6.10, consideration approval of agreement with Associate Superintendent of Human Resources, Amy Bowles. The Associate Superintendent contract states that the Associate Superintendent of Human Resources contract term is set for August 2nd, 2024 through June 30th, 2027. The Associate Superintendent salary will be $249,668 annually and will be prorated for the period from August 2nd, 2024 through June 30th, 2025. This reflects placement on step 6, salary years 4 through 7 of the salary schedule. The Associate Superintendent will receive the following benefits: district health and welfare benefits, payment into membership in professional associations, automobile allowance of $500, the life insurance in the amount of $110,000, contributions into tax sheltered annuity, vacation days earned at a rate of 2.5 days per month, 12 days of sick leave per year, reimbursement for business expenses, etc. May I have a motion in a second?
I move that the Board of Trustees approve the agreement with the Associate Superintendent of Human Resources, Amy Bowles, item 6.10 as presented.
Second.
Okay, is there any public comment?
No virtual comment.
Thank you so much. Any board discussion? Okay, may I have a roll call vote?
Member Hernandez,
Aye.
Member Pacheco,
Aye.
Vice President Jaco,
Aye.
President Gonzalez,
Aye.
motion carries.
Thank you so much. That moves us to item 6.11, consideration and approval of addendum to agreement with Associate Superintendent Mark Evans. The Associate Superintendent's contract is being extended by 1 year through June 30th, 2027. The Associate Superintendent will receive a 4% salary increase retroactively to July 1st, 2023, with an annual salary in the amount of $229,738 effective July 1st, 2024. The annual salary for the Associate Superintendent is $237,778, which reflects the placement at step 6 of the salary schedule. The Assistant Superintendent will receive the following fringe benefits: district health and welfare benefits, payment into membership in professional associations, automobile allowance of $500, life insurance in the amount of $110,000, contribution into tax sheltered annuity, vacation days earned at a rate of 2.5 days per month, 12 sick days of leave per year, and reimbursement for business expenses, etc. May I have a motion in a second?
I move to approve item 6.11.
Yes.
I second.
Okay, is there any public comment?
No virtual comment.
Okay, any board discussion? Great, may we have a roll call vote?
Member Hernandez,
Aye.
Member Pacheco,
Aye.
Vice President Jaco,
Aye.
President Gonzalez,
Aye.
motion carries.
Great, that brings us to action item 6.12, consideration of 6.12, consideration approval of agreement with Assistant Superintendent of Educational Services Division, Janae Enna. Assistant Superintendent contract states that the Assistant Superintendent of Educational Services contract term is set for August 2nd, 2024 through June 30th, 2026. The Assistant Superintendent salary will be $212,888 annually and will be prorated for the period from August 2nd, 2024 through June 30th, 2025. This reflects placement on step 4 of the salary schedule. The assistant superintendent will receive the following fringe benefits: district health and welfare benefits, payment into membership in professional associations, automobile allowance of $500, life insurance in the amount of $110,000, contribution into tax shelter annuity, vacation days earned at the rate of 2.5 days per month, 12 sick leave days per year, and reimbursement for business expenses, etc. May I have a motion in a second?
I move that the Board of Trustees approve the agreement with Assistant Superintendent of Educational Services Division, Janae Enna, item 6.12 as presented.
Second.
Okay, is there any public comment?
No virtual comment?
Okay, any board discussion?
No.
Okay, may I have a roll call vote?
Member Hernandez?
Aye.
Member Pacheco?
Aye.
Vice President Jaco?
Aye.
President Gonzalez?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you so much. And finally, action item 6.13, amended resolution number 1470-06/24, order of election specifications of the election order and consolidation requests. Superintendent Monzo?
Yes, this item was the amended item that was presented when the board opened the meeting. We received notice from the Register of Voters that there was a section that was missing from the resolution that was passed on June 13th, 2024. I do want to note, just for the record, we mirrored the resolution based on the template that the Register of Voters provided to the district. However, we received an email earlier today of the request to amend the resolution. So in order for us to comply with a deadline of July 3rd, 2024 in submitting the final resolution, we are asking the board to approve the amended resolution as presented tonight, and we'll submit that to the ROV immediately tomorrow to meet our deadline.
Thank you so much, Superintendent Monzo. May I have a motion in a second?
I move to approve item 6.13.
Second.
Thank you so much. Is there any public comment?
No virtual comment?
Okay, seeing none in person, is there any board discussion? Okay, may we have a roll call vote?
Member Hernandez?
Aye.
Member Pacheco?
Aye.
Vice President Jaco?
Aye.
President Gonzalez?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thanks so much. And that brings us to item 8, informational items. Item 8.1, California Dashboard Local Indicators. Superintendent Monzo?
Yes, and so every year, alongside the LCAP, there is a requirement for the district to present the dashboard local indicators, and we have our associate superintendent, our new associate superintendent, joining us virtually, and like to invite her to introduce our guest speaker and our upcoming new assistant superintendent of educational service, Ms. Janae Enna. So, Ms. Bowles.
Yes, thank you, Superintendent Monzo. Thank you, President Gonzalez, and members of the board. I really appreciate your flexibility in me joining you virtually today. I'm so sad not to be there in person, especially as we honor Superintendent Monzo for his last meeting and also President Berlin from OGA. But thank you for this opportunity to come and join you virtually. As Superintendent Monzo mentioned, annually it is our responsibility to present to you this information item on the local indicators that we as a district have the opportunity to indicate whether or not we've met or not met this criteria. So this is going to be released in the dashboard results in the fall. I think we hear anticipation that the dashboard results may come earlier in the fall, possibly even end of October or November. But so we have Director Enna, soon to be Assistant Superintendent of Ed Services, Janae Enna, presenting to you this information item. Thank you so much. And I'll turn it on over to Janae.
All right, thank you, Assistant Superintendent Bowles, Superintendent Monzo, Board of Trustees. Just really appreciate the opportunity to present to you a summary of our local indicators. So just a little overview of the dashboard indicators. So during the year, we give 2 presentations to you. One is presentation on our local indicators, and one is on our state indicators. The local indicators, those are the ones that we self-assess and report out to you, as Superintendent Monzo said, in accordance with the same board meeting as our LCAP is adopted, because they are tied. And then the second one is when we report out the state indicators when that's released from the state. So let me just go back really quick. The local indicators are basic conditions at school, the implementation of our state academic standards, parent engagement, school climate, and access to a broad course of study. These are based on the LCFF 8 state priorities. So the local indicators have us self-report on state priorities 1, 2, 3, 6, and 7. You can see in this chart here that each of the LCFF state priorities is measured by either a state indicator or a local indicator, with the exception of priority 6, school climate, actually is rated on both. So the difference between the state and local indicators in terms of performance. One, if you remember the state indicators, we have a color that we receive from the state based on status and change. And then our local is we self-assess if we met that indicator or we did not meet, or if we're not meeting it for 2 or more years. The self-reflection tool that we use, some of it is objective data, and some of it's subjective. And we look at survey data from our parent community, as well as other evaluation tools. So again, this is self-determined, and the criteria are met, not met, or if we didn't meet for 2 or more years. So the first priority, basic services, there we have met, and this is really about appropriately assigned teachers. So we have teachers who are fully credentialed, access to curriculum-aligned instructional materials, and safe, clean, and functional school facilities. So we have, based on our Williams visit and what we know of students having access to their core curriculum, we met and passed the Williams visits in all areas, both curriculum and the facilities inspection. For priority 2, we also met this area of implementation of the standards, and just looking at the self-assessment, we identified the following strengths: providing professional development aligned to academic standards, instructional materials aligned to academic standards, also offering ethnic studies in our 3 comprehensive middle schools, and identifying the professional learning needs of groups of teachers or staff as a whole. Opportunities that we look forward to in the future, in the coming year, is a strong implementation of newly adopted math curriculum, strengthening our implementation of our recently adopted science curriculum, which is TWIG, and continuing to build career technical education pathways in our middle school. Specifically, we're looking at a computer science strand pathway at Davis. So the ongoing implementation of our standards-based curriculum is supported by just monitoring the implementation of core curriculum. That's done through administrative observations, peer-to-peer observations, or instructional rounds, coaching support. This is also supported by teacher planning release days, providing coaching and training to veteran and new teachers over the course of the academic year. And for new teachers, we ensure that they've received training on all of our core curriculum over the course of 2 years, and that just ensures that they get full training without being out of the classroom too much. Monitoring student and educator access to online resources. So all of our curriculum is also technology based, and so we look at usage data for our core curriculum as well as supplemental materials, and then having a strong implementation plan for our mathematics curriculum adoption in the coming year. All right, priority 3, parent engagement. This was data that we gathered based on the district family and parent engagement questions that we used to have as a standalone survey, but we included them as part of our educational partners survey in this past spring. And so we actually were able to get a lot more data that way. By the time parents got the district family and parent engagement survey as a separate survey, they were a little surveyed out, to be honest. And so the response was not as high. So now we have stronger data. And we can see, let me just move so I can read this slide. There we go. 78% of parents feel that OGSD creates welcoming environments for all families in the community. So through our parent engagement survey questions, we noticed that our strengths are in developing the capacity of staff to build trusting and respectful relationships with our families. 81% of respondents felt that they strongly agreed, and developing multiple opportunities for the district and the school sites to engage in two-way communication. And 75% of families, percent of respondents agreed or strongly agreed. And also that two-way communication is in the language that they prefer. And looking at opportunities, our families or respondents to the survey questions, 58% of them felt that OGSD supports families to understand and exercise their legal rights and advocate for their own children. So we'd like to provide some more information and resources to families in that area. 64% felt that OGSD supports families to engage in advisory groups and decision-making. And so we'll continue to look for more opportunities in that area. And 62% feel that OGSD provides all families with opportunities to provide input on policies and programs and implements strategies to seek input from underrepresented groups in the school community. And so, with our district parent groups and ways that we reach out to families to get input, as well as, at the sites, and that's where families are, they're at the site. So working with our site staff and administrators in bolstering those opportunities is something that we're looking to do in the future. And so we did meet that area. In terms of school climate, that area was also met. And data that we used for this self-assessment was our California Healthy Kids Survey from last year, as well as, or I guess I should say from spring 23-24, as well as our local safety, connectedness, and belonging survey. So 89% of fifth graders and 88% of seventh graders reported feeling safe on that survey, and 78% of fifth graders reported feeling safe within a positive school environment on the California Healthy Kids Survey. I don't know why those numbers are so different, but they take the survey at different times of year. So we want to continue to, strengthen that. But we know that that is of the questions, that is a strength in that area. And opportunities, or only 50% of seventh graders reported feelings. So for the seventh graders, they dropped to 50% on the California Healthy Kids Survey. So that's an area that we'll look at. As well as closing the disproportionate suspension rate and chronic absenteeism gaps among student groups by race and students with disabilities. That's another area for us. So we did meet that area, and priority 7 also met in that area. And we've also included metrics on our LCAP to continue to monitor this particularly. For our elementary schools, students do have a broad course of study that includes our core content as well as visual and performing arts. And as you know, we're bolstering and with our Prop 28 AMS funding, able to increase that quite a bit to engage more elementary school students in VAPA classes. And then they also have health and PE. And for intermediate schools, they again have access to the broad course of study, including all of their core content, foreign language, PE, ethnic studies, life skills, and computer technical education. We're in the process of developing, as I mentioned before, a pathway in computer science at Davis Intermediate that will lead them right into a pathway at Oak Grove High School, at Oak Grove High School, and they have a partnership with Cisco, so it's really exciting opportunity, and we're exploring that this year. So that area is met. These metrics, we're going to report them to the CDE after tonight's board meeting, and then they will show up when the dashboard is released. They'll show up on the California dashboard website alongside our state metrics. So this is just a screenshot of what it currently looks like right now, and you'll be able to find the data there. And with that, I thank you so much for the opportunity to share these findings with you, and I can open it up for any questions you might have. Thank you so much. Do we have any questions or board discussion? Oh, well, thank you so much for your thorough, for your thorough presentation.
Just again, thank you, Ms. Senna, and also the entire team in ESD for a lot of work in preparing and finalizing this process alongside our business partners and business services, and putting together and finalizing both the budget, the LCAP, and then this other component of adding the dashboard indicators as well. And so I know that all of that has taken a tremendous amount of time, effort, energy, and also collaboration between all of the departments to make that happen. So as the culminating presentation to that whole process, I just want to take a moment to just commend your entire teams for that very thorough process to wrap all of that up in a way that makes sense. And also in a way that allows for opportunities for us to continue on a journey of continuous improvement and refinement and doing better for our students and our community. So thank you all. Ms. Bowles, any additional thoughts?
I do want to echo your thoughts, Superintendent Monzo. It's always a pleasure to work with the business team and the collaboration of our Ed Services team, as you saw last week as we shared that presentation with them. It is a big task, but we take that responsibility seriously. And I always do frame that mindset with the team every year. It is a pleasure. It's a pleasure and it's an honor to be able to write this in service of our community and our students. And we don't take being stewards of responsible stewards of those funds and that trust of the community lightly. So thank you for the opportunity to share all that information through this season. There is a very large part of me that actually will miss this roll up your sleeves kind of involvement with the LCAP, but I know that the team will continue to do that beautifully under the leadership of Assistant Superintendent Anna. So thank you so much and appreciate all the thoughtful comments and questions and all the thought partnership from the board as well through this process. And I can't, also not thank the community for all their input, all the time they came out to meet with us, to talk with us, and to share their point of views. And we look forward to continuing to work with them in service of our students in the district. So thank you so much.
And there'll be plenty of sleeves to roll up, still just in another area, but I'm sure there'll be those continued opportunities. Thank you again, everyone.
Amazing. And that brings us to our last item, correspondence and board discussion. We may now hear from board members regarding correspondence from individuals or organizations regarding district programs or services. Board members may report on meetings attended or other related district matters. Are there any board members with board discussion?
I'm too tired.
You just came back. We want to hear. We want to hear what has.
I know, I'm too tired.
Okay. Anything from you, Dr. Draco?
Nothing to add since last week.
Okay, amazing. All right, and that brings us to our final item, adjournment. May I have a motion in a second to adjourn the meeting?
Move to adjourn.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
That was nice.
Okay, any opposed?
No.
Okay, got it. The board meeting on June 20th, 2024 is adjourned